Well, we did our last interview, and at that point, Ryan Garcia had beaten Devin Haney, your son. And, there was the overweight situation, so it wasn't an official fight at that point. But right after the interview, I'm talking about might have been the same day or the next day.
It was I think it was the same day.
It might have been the same day.
I knew it was something fishy. I was smelling something fishy. I told you, Vlad, I said, I'm going to have to come back on this.
Yeah.
But, for the sport, I accepted the position that we were in. But, you know what I mean? It smelled fishy,
Right, because right after our interview, it was announced that Ryan Garcia had tested positive for the banned PED Ostarine?
Ostarine. Yeah, I learned how to pronounce it after he got caught with it. You know what I mean? I didn't know nothing about it until...
What exactly is Ostarine?
Well, they say it's a performance-enhancing drug that's used to keep you strong, help you lose weight, and, I think recovery. It helps in recovery. So you can have a hell of a workout, right? Beat yourself up. And then you take the Ostarine and you recover faster to come back to do the work all over again. So essentially, it helps you have the most wonderful and pleasant camp you can outside of just naturally doing it.
Okay, so here's what I don't understand. Everyone gets drug tested before the fight.
Mm-hmm.
So your son gets tested, he tests clean. Does Ryan Garcia get tested before the fight?
Absolutely. So what happens is, the more that I've done the research with the Ostarine is that as you lose body fat, and if you're water hydrating, if you're staying watered up and stuff like that I think that Ryan was doing, you can't detect it as good. But as you drop weight and you have less body fat, which he got found guilty, or he admitted guilt that on the day of the weigh-in, he had Ostarine in his system, and also during the fight, he had the Ostarine in his system. So, and for all intent purposes, he could have had it in his system all throughout camp, but it didn't get detected until he dropped all the water out of your body, and now the Ostarine is still stored inside the fatty cells, to my understanding.
So, boxers get tested after the fight?
The night of the fight.
The night
of the fight. As soon as you come out the ring, they got a cup right there for you.
Okay.
And as soon as you get off the stage from weighing in, they have a cup for you. So both those cups were hot.
So off the weigh-in, he tested positive, but I guess the fight was about to happen, so they wouldn't stop it?
Well, no, because when you do the urine sample, they have to send the sample out. They can't just test it
they don't have
in the back, or they don't have
a lab right there.
No,
Okay,
they don't have a lab or the ability now, as of now, to test it the weekend of the fight. So Friday afternoon, we get off the scale. Both fighters piss. So that's Friday. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine in New York trying to get a lab to test the piss?
Well, I mean, this is a big deal.
It is a very big deal.
An event worth tens of millions of dollars. So
absolutely. So
they do have labs like this that can instantly do it, but I guess they didn't do it in this case.
In the case of the agency that we were using, that we all agreed on using,
Mm-hmm.
The urine wasn't tested until after, right? It was sent out and tested after, and then it came back after the fight that he was positive during the fight. So can you imagine if you take something? If you do something the day of the fight, an amphetamine or anything to enhance your intuitiveness or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Should they be able to test it and know exactly before you go in the ring, within the next hour or so? Because now I think that we need an agency that can provide that kind of service.
Well, yeah, because if you had tested positive after the weigh-in, they would have had to stop the fight if you tested positive for PEDs. So suddenly you got all these people. Like how long from the weigh-in to the actual fight?
The weigh-in is maybe 36 hours. Because if you do the weigh-in at maybe 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, then it's the following day or night, say 10 o'clock at night.
I mean, it almost sounds like they may have known, but since everyone already bought their tickets and the PPV was all purchased and everything else like that, that it wouldn't behoove them to stop the fight.
Well,
you see what I'm saying?
If they've known, then they've done a great injustice to Devin and to the sport that you will let an athlete come in there knowing that we're testing so this doesn't happen, and then based on tickets or revenue.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's right.
No, of course,
yeah,
and I
I'm
agree.
not saying
and I
it's
agree
wrong,
with you.
but
yeah,
if someone had this piece of information and if they were to release it, and suddenly the whole fight is off, that's a pretty big deal.
Absolutely. Anytime that the fight, you go into promoting the fight the way we promoted the fight, even with, like I pointed out, the 3 pounds, it was something that we had to think about. Do we want to say no? And we could have said no.
You could have pulled out.
We could have pulled out.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there was so many people that had came to New York, so many people bought tickets and the pay-per-views and all those things, then it was something that we considered and chose not to do it.